Head Investment Investment Strategy and Advisory at Prabhudas Lilladher joins us on the show. Ajay, good morning. Neeraj here. Thanks so much for joining in. The earnings season continues to disappoint, Ajay. Just when we were thinking that pharma companies would do well, out came Sun Pharma, out came Cipla, out came an Ipca, and all three numbers subpar. But the real shocker was Sun. You don't expect them to miss their guidance by such a margin.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you that the numbers trotted out by some of the pharma majors have been a tad disappointing. And this is to be seen in the context of the market having already discounted a very rosy projections, and hence the stocks trading at extremely high valuations. That is something that really makes these stocks and the sector especially vulnerable in case there is any disappointment. In pharmaceuticals, I think our top picks for some time have been Glenmark Pharmaceuticals and Aurobindo Pharma. And both the companies, Aurobindo and Glenmark, have posted numbers which are in line or better than market expectations. And we would advise investors with a medium-term perspective to look at these companies. In case of Glenmark, I think we are expecting a very strong earnings numbers for this year and next financial year. A large number of approvals that were pending, ANDA approvals, are already coming through. And we expect some more key approvals to come with the remainder of the year and in next financial year. The company has got large cash infusion from Temasek, and I think the balance sheet profile of the company also over the medium term should markedly improve with the cash being used to pay down debt, and the company is expected to generate a very strong free cash flow after capex over the next 2 years. So I think in the medium term perspective, Glenmark should form part of the core portfolio, and Aurobindo continues to delight investors with very strong both top line and bottom line numbers, and it continues to remain part of our core recommendations with a medium term perspective.
Ajay, hi, morning. So how would you analyze L&T's numbers? It's been disappointing operationally, but do you cut your price targets on this? What would be the rating on the stock?
Yeah, I think our analyst has cut the price target by a marginal earnings by around 6 to 7% for FY16 and FY17, and the target price has more or less been kept flat, unchanged vis-a-vis what it was before the results were out. And his positive stance on L&T is primarily predicated on three factors. One, I think although the company has disappointed on metals and metallurgical side and hydrocarbon side, I think the momentum that the company has shown in the fourth quarter in terms of strong order book growth and the guidance of 15% top line growth, 15% sales growth, and an improvement in EBITDA margin by at least 100 basis points, excluding the services business. I think as also the commentary that we are already starting to see green shoots in the infrastructure space, which also has contributed a lot in the performance for this year. Albeit the growth is back-ended, and second half FY16 is when the company expects the momentum to pick up. So Ajay, I think if you are a believer in a pickup in investment cycle, the L&T should form part of your portfolio.
Okay, Ajay, fair point, but let me just throw in the valuation dimension here. I am with you when you say that investment cycle will pick up. It may take 2 quarters, it may take 3 quarters, that's conjecture, but yes, the investment cycle will pick up. But my problem with L&T is that it has got a market capitalization of 1,50,000 crore. It's got a P multiple of 25 times plus according to the most conservative estimates for FY16, which means that L&T for the moment is completely priced to perfection.
I think let's look at what kind of earnings growth we are projecting. We are projecting around 18% growth in earnings for FY16, followed by around 32% growth in earnings in FY17. And I wouldn't say that it's a conjecture that infrastructure will pick up. I'll just give one instance, hard data. I was there on the con call of one of the large road contractors, and the total orders expected to be bid out by NHAI and Ministry of Road Transport and the state governments before 30th of June is expected to be around 44,000 crores. Also, I think the Honorable Minister of Road Transport, Mr. Gadkari, has gone on record 2 days back that 3.7 lakh crores worth of orders will be bid out by NHAI and Ministry of Road Transport over the next 6 months. and it has been corroborated by the company, various companies in the road sector, saying that total 1 lakh crores of orders by NHAI and Ministry of Road Transport and another 1 lakh crores of orders by state governments will be bid out. Roads, as you remember, and railways has been the main emphasis for the current government to help kickstart the growth. And as Arvind Subramaniam in the report, in the economic survey has said, the multiplier impact of investments in transportation is 5 times. So I think, I would disagree with you that it's a conjecture. I would strongly feel that it is the investments in the road sector and railways which will help kickstart the growth. And today's lot of media sources are saying that in the month of April, after many years, the largest spend by the government has happened.
Ajay, one stock which you've liked in the past, and my compliments, that stock has really worked for you, is Britannia. I think as a house you identified Britannia at 750. Now it's at 2500. But 750 it was cheap. At 2500 it is super expensive.
There I tend to agree with you, because our belief is that most of the positives insofar as sharp drop in input prices has already been factored in the uptick in the margins that one has seen, although the company is gravitating more towards value-added products. But the sheer valuations of the company makes us believe that there is a case for a review, and one can sort of think of partially booking profits in the company, and Nikunj, it doesn't form part of our top picks now for last 2 to 2.5 months, because we believe that most of the positives have been factored in, and plus we also have to see the impact of the monsoons, because already we are seeing the rural demand caving in, although the company derives most of its businesses from the urban sector, but yet I think that would remain an overhang. So generally in case of FMCG companies, I think it would be advisable to exercise some caution till we see the progress of monsoons.
Ajay, fair point. Now, since we are talking on numbers, I just wanted to understand if post this earnings season, and it's almost come to a close now, any set of earnings which made you sit up and change your ratings on these companies? I mean, Britannia came out with good numbers, but there were a handful of companies which came out with good numbers. Most of the others were bad. What stood out for you? Where have you changed the ratings? What's our new buy call?
Yeah, I think one sector which was in the throes of negativism after third quarter was the banking sector. And if you just look at the thread of commentary given by some of the largest banks, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, on the corporate banks, large corporate banks, and also SBI and BOB, I think it's a story of contrasting halves. A large number of these banks basically are indicating that incremental slippages in FY16 will be lower than what we have seen in FY15, and that is what is giving a lot of comfort to investors that the largest sector, which is banking and financial services, maybe we are over the hump. It might be a pain for one more quarter, which is the June ending quarter, but as we progress in the second half of the FY16, one will clearly see the problems on stressed assets fronts and restructured assets front plateauing out, and a base being formed for a strong recovery. So I think some of these banks stand out in terms of the results. They were not as disappointing as the market was expecting them when we went into the numbers. IT companies stand out for disappointing across the board, and essentially based on the cross-currency headwinds, as also a lot of weakness being seen in 2 or 3 sectors, be it telecom, be it energy, and be it insurance. And there I think, one will need to exercise some caution,
Ajay,
because the American economy has degrown by 0.7% instead of 0.2% as was initially estimated.
Yeah. Okay, Ajay, good chatting with you, and thanks much for really breaking down the the earnings season for us and talking about all your hits and misses. Good to chat with you today. Okay, that's the view
Thank
then
you so much
on earnings from Ajay Bodke from Prabhudas Leeladhar. But as we